Let everybody know. It's always so funny when it says that. All right, welcome back, Javar. Man, look, a lot of people missed you. Monty had to do the last NBA pod, and his reviews are not great. So I'll just play. No, I'll just
Is
play.
he does
Welcome
he like
back, man.
really watch basketball like that,
Monty.
or is he more
I
of a
mean,
casual?
that's a good question. At this big age, I would assume he's more of a casual, but I
Big
mean,
age.
yeah, yeah. He's 30 now, so.
Cool.
No, look, shout out to Monty. He recently took over the social media. Thank God. He's been posting a lot of clips that have been getting a
Oh,
lot of
okay,
views.
okay. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot more posts. I'm like, Julian going ham on the current era lately.
Yeah, nah, shout out to Monty, man. Anyway, Javar, NBA, man, the NBA playoffs are just going absolutely insane. Two game sevens yesterday that we got to watch. But before we talk about that, I wanted to give you a chance to talk about the LA Lakers, our team.
Hmm.
Unfortunately,
Are they still
we are
relevant?
they're not at all. We're out. We lost to Denver in the first round in 5 games. Darvin Ham has been fired. Um, what are your thoughts, man? Do you have anything that you want to say? Any positive outlooks? What's our direction going forward? I want it all.
My immediate thoughts is that I think the last time we talked or whatever is like right around the play-in, we should have actually lost that game and set up to be going against the OKC Thunder, and then we would probably be in the conference finals right now.
I mean, we would lose to Minnesota, but
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I think we match up decently with Minnesota. I mean, they're better than the Lakers, but they would have a fighting chance as opposed to the Nuggets. It's just matchups, man. Like we
uh,
we know what to do against Gobert, and
that's true.
Towns actually does some. The thing about Towns I've noticed over the years is that when he goes against like star bigs, he steps his game up. Like he actually matched up. He always used to match up decent with AD, and he used to frustrate me. It's like AD, why are you not dominating Towns? He's like a punk against, when it matters. But like, when it's against a star matchup, he actually guards AD pretty well, and he guarded Jokic pretty well in this series. I'm sure we'll definitely talk about here soon. But okay, realistically with the Lakers, I mean, it looks like they're about to hire a rookie coach, whether that's an assistant or someone like JJ Redick. Um, and I'm kind of like, you know, I'm glad that they're doing their due diligence. But the thing with the Lakers is that they always seem to hire like the hot name in the market. Whoever's if there's actually a sexy name out there. Um, it's the same kind of thing with Luke Walton.
Hmm.
After he helped the Warriors, when Steve Kerr had I think it was back issues at the time,
Yep.
he couldn't coach for like half the season that year. They actually won 73 games. Luke Walton started off coaching like half that season, and he was amazing. He did a good job with those guys, and everybody was like, "Oh, he's the hot coaching candidate." The Lakers ended up hiring him. He just couldn't really hack it.
Hmm.
Maybe over time he could have got better, but it's the Lakers. They don't got time for you to start off not knowing what to do when you need to do it, not knowing how to get the guys prepared, not knowing how to manage a game. And then we went the other way with an experienced coach in Vogel, but we actually won with him, but that was actually not the guy that we wanted at the time. We wanted Ty Lue. We wanted, um, he was trying to make more of a splash, but guys actually turned down the job, and we ended up with Frank Vogel, who actually was good for the Lakers. And then once they had their chance again, they hired the hot name Darvin Ham, who was everybody's trying to say he was the hot assistant. So, you know, we're pretty much coming back to the same thing. JJ Redick is the hot name out here. I'm intrigued. I can't lie because he does sound like he has a high basketball IQ, and he's been able to observe the game as a sideline, not sideline analyst, and all the work he's doing with ESPN, First Take, and his podcast and all that. Clearly, he's close to the game. And he's got a pulse of what's going on. But when you're in that seat, man, it's different. Um, all the pressure. You're trying to manage superstars, the fans. I mean, these are some smart Lakers fans are smart. We know what's going on. And we'll call you out, and you're gonna see it. Whether you try to avoid social media or not, someone's gonna bring it to you, and it's just gonna be, this loud. The pressure. It's real, man. And I don't know. It's just hard to tell like what a rookie coach is gonna bring to the table. But there's not really anybody else out there.
So here's my real only problem with JJ Redick because like you, I do agree that he's intriguing, But if we're being realistic, JJ Redick literally has no coaching experience at all. And I just don't see how we can credibly back hiring him. Like I just don't. Now, if LeBron and AD weren't on the team and we were going through a rebuild or something like that, then fuck it. Let's get JJ Redick in here. Let's give him on the job experience. Let's see what happens. We can roll the dice that way.
Mm-hmm.
But with this roster, we're trying to win championships. We we can't credibly hire a guy that literally has never been in a coaches meeting before. Like I just don't get how we can do that.
I mean,
Um,
even with Darvin Ham, a longtime assistant, you could see the learning curve. Like
yeah,
he still had to learn how to manage the game, like and remember all the things going on at one time. Okay, you got to tell
mhm.
guys over here to do this. Tell your guy right here to do this. Oh, and you need to sub somebody here soon because or whatever. And you need to call timeouts because momentum. And you just gotta think about all these things. And it's a lot. It's a
It
lot.
is, man.
And Ham, he had a. It's not like he was like had a whole bunch of rookie assistants. He had some decent veteran assistants around him. If we were to get a guy like JJ, we'd almost have to get like people who were previous head coaches to help fill his bench.
Hmm.
Guys like Alvin Gentry, Terry Stotts. I don't know whoever's out there. Dave
Hmm.
Yeager.
Yep.
Um, I guess guys that just Frank Vogel, guys that have a lot of experience, have a lot of knowledge, but for whatever reason, they're not. It's not clicking with players. They're not quite listening to them as a head coach. I don't know. At the end of the
Yeah, man.
day, I think as fans, we just don't really know how to gauge it, especially when it's new coaches. Like, so we just kind of got to have faith in management, but it's hard to do that. We'll just
Hmm.
see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quick question though, with the Lakers, how close do you think they are? You say we're trying to compete for championships, but play in, first round exit, first round exit. Last season we did make it to the conference finals, but are the Lakers still contenders? Like, where are we at? I mean, throughout the season, we've had, our ups and downs. We definitely have been like, I don't see it. LeBron's getting old. AD can't carry us. Whatever the case may be. But like, I don't know. But with the new coach, are we there right now? With a couple minor roster moves, are we there, or are we
um,
really not that close? What do you think?
I think we're closer than people will give us credit for. I think LeBron is only going to get worse, but even if his quote unquote worst is next season is like 23, 6-6, that's still really fucking good. And then
But if
if
he's
he
making
can
40, 50 million, is that okay? Like a guy, 23, 6-6, not playing no defense and playing 50, 60 games out of the year, or
uh
65 games out of the year.
I think well, so like for me personally, no, but I think for like the Lakers organization, I think they're willing to just die with LeBron. He already won us a championship, so I think they're just going to pay him his due, basically, out of his like respect for the game. And I mean, it's hard
I
to say
think
he
the
doesn't
Lakers need
deserve
an
it.
attraction, right? Like they need somebody that's going to sell tickets.
That too, yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, we were selling tickets when we had fucking Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, and Robert
Okay, let me let
Sacre.
me let
Like
me rewind. Not necessarily sell tickets, but make them relevant
relevant.
in the
Yeah,
news
yeah.
cycle. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree to an extent, but I say all that to say I still think that we can be I mean, but we need roster. Like we need help. We can't just roll out this same roster and think that we don't need defensive rebounding. It's just it's apparent, bro. Like we're not going to beat the Denver Nuggets, the Timberwolves, maybe not even the Mavericks, like without like real defense and real rebounding. So um we need help. I mean, it is what it is. Like there's a whole bunch of free agents that are linked to us this off season, and
Yeah.
we know how that goes. We'll end up getting Russell Westbrook. So, um,
I was gonna say like so. It sounds like you thinking we need another big.
yes,
Um, like so you think all of our like that should be number one priority, all our resources towards that because it sounds like we're more trying to chase like a third star, like a Trey
hmm
Young, Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland. I don't know type. What do
hmm
you think about that?
yeah. I mean, I think so. Like if we were able to keep D'Lo, Reeves, and Rui with Bron and AD, and we get a Vando healthy, and we add let's say like a Jonas Valanciunas or a Jared Allen or a Clint Capella. I think that's really like a huge boost, especially if we have everyone healthy. Um, now, Is that actually enough? I don't know. But in my mind, I think with a new coach and with AD playing the four again, I think we have a better chance. Yeah.
I don't know, man. We'll see. It sounds like the Lakers are still star chasing, so I don't know.
Well,
I don't think Donovan Mitchell or Trey Young or maybe even Gar. I don't think those guys are necessarily. I mean, yeah, we could use another primary playmaker, somebody who could get downhill, somebody who could get to the basket. I mean, get you 25, but
put pressure on the defense.
just with our resources, I think like I agree. I think it's more important to shore up what we have. Some try to find for maybe like a mid-level somewhere around there, a big, whether it's a power forward or a five to help AD down there. Because as we know, LeBron, though his best position offensively is a four, he can't guard him and he
Mm-mm.
doesn't rebound.
Mm-mm.
So it'd be nice if we could have like somebody, a four that's like switchy that can guard on the wing a little bit, can also guard their position, can rebound, can hit the open three. They don't necessarily have to like get their own bucket, but just somebody like a Miles Turner would just be just perfect. But like we've been trying to get him for years, and now these fools mess around and make the conference finals, so they're not blowing nothing up there.
Yep. Real
All
quick
right, man. I was about to say we
before
spent
we, yeah,
15 minutes on the Lakers.
yeah. I know nobody cares. Real quick before we move on, I want to talk about Bronny. Bronny has
Oh,
been in the NBA draft combine. He's been impressing some scouts and not impressing others. Um, there's been a lot of hate going towards Bronny just because obviously his dad's LeBron and people think he has the easy way, and of course he does. And what's wrong with with nepotism in the black community? It seems like we're one of like the only people that like absolutely hate it, which is super weird. I think Bronny should 100% take literally any advantage that he can get. And if he's only going to make the NBA because his dad's LeBron, who gives a fuck? Make the NBA and make your name if you can. But this notion that he shouldn't be drafted uh, because he's just ass is really weird to me. Obviously, he can play. Now he is only 6'1", which is crazy
hold on, hold on,
because
hold
he's
on,
from
hold
this
on.
team.
Like, wait. You think he should get drafted
Yes, maybe he doesn't have to be a first round draft pick.
off of ability or just because of nepotism?
Ability. Yes, I think his ability is good enough to get drafted in the second round
But why he can't?
at
Why he
least.
can't like play for his college team? Why he coming off the bench averaging 10 minutes a game?
Well, he was on a minutes restriction because of his heart thing, so he could only play a certain amount
Mm,
of minutes.
that was only for like a month. Like most of the
Well,
season, he wasn't on restriction.
officially, sure, but I'm willing to give him a pass for USC
Look, I'm
personally.
not trying. I'm not hating on Bronny, but I don't think it's best for his career to try to come to the NBA right now. I just don't.
Why?
Like, I think he needs to prove that he can play against people of his level, of his skill level first. Like, I don't think it's going to do him any good to be buried on the bench in the G League or, just getting dominated, like just getting his confidence hurt. Like, guys are going to be coming at his neck. This LeBron James son. Like, so I don't know. I don't think it's a good idea. I think he should stay in college. And
Okay.
that's just, I mean, because he don't need money either. So like if it's purely about his career, I think he should worry about his development, and I think he should like focus on trying to make his name, or at least get to like a certain level in college to where you're a star, or you're dependent on. Does he just want to be a role player? Does he just want to like carve a niche in the league? If that's his only goal, okay, sure, but I don't think he needs that. I thought it was all about trying to be the best he can be.
So I mean, from everything that he said in interviews that I've seen recently, he is totally fine with being like a Davion Mitchell type, like a Drew Holiday at his
Those
peak
guys were
type.
stars in college.
Sure, but I'm saying like in the league, they're basically role players. And like my
Drew
point in what
Holiday made
he's
an All-Star
saying,
team.
he's made two. But my point is that he's comfortable with being a role player. Like I don't think that he has any illusions being a star in the NBA. Uh, but
I,
yeah, I
I
mean,
hope you get what I'm trying to say. Like a lot of players that are in the NBA were stars in college.
mhm. Even
So
in high
this
school, yeah.
guy, yeah, in high school. I mean, he was. I don't even know if he was that good in high school. Like he was pretty good, but like it was mostly off of his name and his status. I don't know, man. Like I think he's got
So
a lot
what are
of
you gonna
talent.
do when the Lakers pick him up? Because that is probably inevitable.
Well, I would lose my shit if he's like guaranteed roster spot, like because we need that we need to actually have people that we can use. Like we were
Yeah.
frustrated when we got fucking what's his name Gabe Vincent and he can't do anything because he's hurt half the season. Like if we have a roster spot, we need to have it for useful people that can play. So
Mhm.
I would be absolutely pissed if we spend a roster spot on Bronny James. If it's a two-way, okay, maybe, but I think if somebody wants to draft them, let them draft them and let them develop somewhere. I mean, they already came out and said that LeBron ain't going nowhere because of Bronny.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I I don't. Good luck to him, man. I'm not trying to hate. I just don't think it's a good idea. I think he should go back to college, at least for one more season. If he still get buried in college because whatever reason, then he's got another decision to make. But hey, maybe he thinks that the G League and the NBA it's better for his development. But I don't know.
I mean,
I think you need to be a certain level.
yeah.
Would going to the G League help you right now? You would just get your head beat in. Like maybe in like a year or two, you could like finally crack the rotation. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like for the average, you know, like how is it going to help to like have a difficulty level way above where you're at?
Well, my two counters is one, especially in Bronny's, like he doesn't need to go to school and like go to class and like submit reports and do finals and all that bullshit. So
Maybe he
that's a
does. It
weight
wouldn't be a
lifted
bad
off his
idea to
shoulders.
get a degree because I don't think his professional career is going to last a long time. So he should go ahead and think
His
about
dad's a
running.
billionaire. He doesn't need to go to school.
He doesn't need to go to school. He doesn't need to, but it could only help. He could only help his knowledge. I'm not going to down education.
No, but I mean, in his case, I'm saying like if you were Bronny, I feel like
What do you think
you
he has a
would want to
better?
go to school.
What do you think? So, I'm sorry, I hate to cut you off. What do you think he has a better chance of doing? Like successfully running his dad's businesses, or like becoming, you know, building his own legend as a basketball player? He's better off just go ahead and getting a business degree, and you know, go ahead and learning how to run, you know, uninterrupted and all the stuff. You know, help go work with Maverick Carter and them. Like, you know, he can play basketball as long as he wants, but realistically, hmm, I don't know. He's only 6'1". He's not super athletic though. He's got a nice little vert, and he's not that good.
Okay.
What does Marcus Jordan doing these days? What is
Marcus Pippen. But that
oh yeah,
was
that's right. Yeah, so Jordan's kids. Yeah, they had a stint where they was in D2 and doing the most, trying to make it to the league. Michael Jordan wasn't holding their hands like LeBron is doing, but you know,
I mean, maybe he
it's
fucking should
tough.
have, but
Mm.
I mean, that's neither here nor there. Anyway, let's talk about the actual NBA playoffs and teams that are actually in it, or at
Good
least
luck,
were.
Bronny.
Yeah, Celtics and the Cleveland Cavaliers ended pretty much like we all thought. Um, the Celtics are so interesting. In both series so far, they've dropped game two at home. I mean, the one against Miami, Miami hit what 25 threes, which is literally a playoff record. Uh, but the one against Cleveland was interesting. I mean, it just looked like Cleveland just had more energy. They were just quote unquote better for a game, which can happen. I mean, it's the playoffs. Anybody can get hot, so it's not really an anomaly. And then they packed him up in five after Donovan Mitchell called it quits and missed the last two games. And unfortunately, Jared Allen sustained an injury in the Orlando series. He couldn't go at all this series, but the Celtics didn't have Kristaps Porzingis for this series either, so we're not going to use injuries as an excuse. So let's give the Boston Celtics their credit for beating the Cavs in 5 games. Um, you can only play the opponent in front of you, as they say. So, uh, what do you think about the Celtics so far, man? And what do you think about the series that they played against the Cleveland Cavaliers?
I would say that you know, for Celtics fans and people watching them, it's almost like we're just looking for reasons to doubt them, reasons for, you know,
Mm-hmm.
cracks in the armor.
I am for sure.
They haven't really had much adversity. So they're kind of cruising through it. I can understand where, you know, there's a game or two where they just another team gets hot and they're just like, fuck it, we'll get them next game, gentleman sweep. That's pretty
Mm-hmm.
much how it played out. I think Indiana, they can't really push them that hard, I don't think, but I wouldn't be that surprised if it goes six. Um, so Yeah, if I was a Celtics fan, I would just be concerned that they're not really getting pushed, and it's like they have a history of kind of, you know, not responding greatly when there's adversity or when they're against the ropes. Sometimes they have, but sometimes they haven't. So it's kind of like you don't really know uh, how it's going to play out as it gets further into the playoffs. So it sounds like they just have, a golden ticket to the finals. Maybe they deserve that. They've been pretty much the best team of the last decade. It feels like they've been good every year since they got Tatum and Brown, but they just can't. I remember you've been saying this for years. It's like, how much longer are we going to be, Celtics got to win here soon because they pretty much have had this contending core for a long time.
Yep.
Do you feel like they have the most pressure to win, or is it are they just kind of falling by,
I mean,
seems like nobody's giving them as much pressure as they should to me.
Out of the teams that are left, there's no team that has as much pressure as the Boston Celtics to win.
That's true, yeah, because all the other teams are just kind of almost happy to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Good, great story type things.
Yeah, the Celtics. I mean, and look, I honestly, they're not my favorite anymore. But then again, we really haven't seen them in the playoffs with Porzingis, so that adds like a whole new layer. And who knows how healthy he's going to be when he's back? But
he's already saying he's missing the beginning of the series.
Yeah, he's going to miss the first 2 games at least. That was at least. So I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. But there's a team out west that we'll talk about in a little bit that I think is pretty much going to win it all. Before we talk about them, though, I want to talk about the Mavericks, Dallas Mavericks.
Hold on. Let's just what about the Knicks? How you feel about their season and how it ended? I mean, obviously they just kind of ran out of gas. Everybody kept getting hurt, but should Knicks fans kind of be happy about how the season played out? And they found them a star, a confirmed star in Brunson.
I think the overwhelming majority of them are. I mean, I think most Knicks fans realize that they just didn't have the personnel to like really make it any further than they did. I mean, they were kind of lucky to get out of the first round, and they were just dropping like flies, man. Poor
How much
OG
you blame
Anunoby.
Tibbs here?
Me personally, I blame him a lot. Like, and if you like look at Knicks social media, they're like, oh, it's not his fault, but bro, like, I think like people are kind of like misunderstanding what I mean when I say it's his fault. Like, you can't play your guys for 40 minutes plus in the regular season, play them for 48 minutes in every game of the playoffs, and then like when these little knick-knack injuries happen, you're just like, oh, like no, like he just rolled his ankle, or like, oh, like he got injured on this play. Like, bro, they're tired. Like
it's a culmination, yeah.
Yeah, like it's a culmination of all these things. Like, they're tired. They're not moving as well because they've been playing so many fucking minutes. So yeah, he rolled his ankle because he was tired. Like he got hit right here because he was tired and he didn't move. Like he's tired.
Yeah, like Josh Hart had like a abdominal thing, right? And that's just one of those things. Of course, if you get hit there, or if there's something that happens, it's gonna hurt. But like, I can't help but wonder, like, maybe he was already weakened because he's playing 48 minutes a game. Like,
yeah,
he can't take. I mean, you could probably like punch him in the stomach and he'd be out for a couple days. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's already kind of weakened from just being brittle, playing so many minutes, getting overused.
Nigga was barely making it. And poor OG Anunoby, man.
He ran out there. I mean, that was a mistake because they just he got a couple points and they were like, oh hell no, you over here shuffling and limping. It almost looked like 2K or something. How when people be hurt and they just be they can't move and they just limping. It's like, oh man, they just running up and down the court on OG.
Yeah, it was an interesting series between the Pacers and the Knicks. There was a lot of trash talk back and forth. Tyrese Halliburton, man, I was a little disappointed in him in the beginning of the series. I don't think that your best player on your team can take 6 shots and be successful in playoffs. Like,
I mean, TJ McConnell is kind of like being their best player right now. Yeah, it's like, I don't know what's going on. I mean, well, I know what's going on. Ever since the hamstring or calf thing, he's just hasn't been the same player this season. So I don't know.
He was like, in my opinion, he was hunting for assists, and I think that was to their detriment. Like him averaging like 10 or 11 assists a game is like very important to him. Yeah. And I think he needs to realize, well, which he slowly did over the course of the series, is that his team is better when he's aggressive. And yeah, they're playing him for that. Like they're giving him free lanes to the paint because they know he's trying to pass it to a 3 or duck it off to Miles Turner or something. But like when he's aggressive, the team is just different. They're so much better. So I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest. I thought the Knicks would win this series relatively easily, but
I won't say easy, but I did think they were going to win. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I had Knicks in 6 before the series started, but obviously OG Anunoby going down in the first game. I mean, and Josh Hart
That's
only
hard.
playing minimal minutes in games 6 and 7 or
He
game
lost
6.
Bogdanovich last series.
Yep.
I feel like
I
they lose a
mean,
guy like almost every game, and Jalen Brunson got hurt like in the third quarter
yeah, in
of
game
Game
7,
7.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I mean, this is just tough on the Knicks, man. But uh, I do think, I mean, the Pacers kind of earned it. I mean, they went into Madison Square Garden. Well, first they were down 3-2 and won the last 2 games, one at home which they're supposed to win. Then they went into Madison Square Garden and took it to them, man. I mean, again, uh, injuries isn't really an excuse. I mean, even though in the Knicks case it's kind of glaring, like they're down like 4 starters. But I
quick
mean,
question.
I want to credit the Pacers.
Kind of random, but if the Knicks were trying to like dump Randall, would you be interested for the Lakers? Say like I don't know, Rui and Gabe Vincent for Randall.
Yes. Why would I not do that?
Okay, just curious. I don't know how he would fit offensively with the Lakers, but if he could like tone it down a little bit with the crazy step backs and ISOs and just go back to playing his bully ball game. I don't know if he'd want to play for the Lakers after what he went through, where Luke Walton kind of just didn't play him and forced him out. But yeah, I don't just because I think the Knicks, I think they've learned in these playoffs. Okay, obviously Brunson is their best player. He's their guy. I don't know how Randall feels about that, and uh, they kind of play better just fine without him, as long as they have like Anunoby and some guys to fill in that spot. So I don't know.
I don't think the Knicks are championship contenders without Julius Randle, though. I think they're going to need him
You
to
think
win a
you think
ring.
he's the difference in making them contenders?
Yeah, if the Knicks are fully healthy with Brunson, Anunoby, Mitchell Robinson, Isaiah Hartenstein, Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo, Julius Randle, I think it's a pretty big piece to that puzzle. I'll give Randle credit. Now,
He
look,
got to
I'm
play
not
right,
saying
maybe.
I'm about to say like I'm not saying that he won't be their downfall too, but I
Right.
mean like I think if they run into a team like the Celtics, I think they fare much better with Randle than without Randle. That's just my opinion.
As good as Thibs is for the Knicks, do you think he could ever win with his style?
No, absolutely not. He's fucking nuts, man. He's nuts, and it's so funny. Like you see players like
He's
Joakim
perfect for the
Noah
Knicks, though. Like
or
some
Kyle
guy, some
Korver.
team.
I don't know if he is, bro. I mean, like I would not be able to stand if he was coaching my team and he was playing my best player 42 minutes a night. Like I, especially in the regular season, like I couldn't roll with it, bro. Like I
See
can't
after the
do it.
game how old boy is in the ice tub and limping and shit out every
Yeah,
day trying to recover. Yeah, it's just like, man,
these niggas is barely making it out here, man. Like I'm cool with that. I'm cool. I'm cool. Let's talk about the Mavericks and Thunder in the Western Conference, one of the
I'm
premier
sorry. One more
series.
thing.
Okay.
Continuing the East, the Cavs. For don't you think that was a successful season for them?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna say for them, to make it past the round. I mean, make it to the second round. Um, without LeBron, I think this is just kind of like a natural steps in their life cycle. I mean, they made the playoffs last year. Now this year they won a round, but it sounds like it's like catastrophic out there. Like they're about
It
to
should
fire
be.
a coach, and they're trying to figure out if Donovan Mitchell wants to leave, and or if they need to trade Jared Allen or Mobley or Garland. Basically,
Man,
they got too many guys. They think their best players don't
yeah.
play well together. Yeah.
Look, man, I've been saying this all year about the Cavs. I was really high on them. They have a good roster to me, and I think that they underachieved. That's just point blank. Period. Now, obviously, they ran into the best team in the league, and they did not have all their guns, sure, but it should have been more competitive. Even though Donovan Mitchell missed the last 2 games, but yeah, man, to me, this is not a success at all. I think Donovan Mitchell has been looked as a good enough to, at least in the league anyway, as a good enough player to be number one. He has multiple number twos, number threes. He has a decent coach in JB Bickerstaff. I think that they surrounded the team with shooters. I mean, on paper, this Cavs team should have at least made the conference finals, in my opinion. So to me, I don't think this was a successful season for them at all.
Okay. Okay. We'll see. It sounds like they're about to make a lot of changes this summer. So
Yeah, we'll see. Um, Luca versus SGA, battle of the MVP. People are not happy that SGA did not win this MVP award. I don't know if you saw what Shaq said to Joker on Inside the NBA, but
I
it was
did.
just
It was rude.
yeah, it was real hater shit from Shaq. But anyway, let's talk about the Mavs and Thunder, man. Before the series began, I had this series going 6 in the Mavericks' favor. Um, I just thought that the Mavericks had two of the three best players in the series, with Kyrie and Luka, and nobody on Oklahoma City is battle tested, man. They're just not ready for this high level consistent play night over night over night. And in the first few games, it turned out especially to be true where you see guys like Chet Holmgren struggling, J Dub struggling. It seemed like nobody but Shea was doing anything. Um, Whereas even though Kyrie didn't have a good series scoring wise, he had really high assist numbers. He was really great in the second halves, especially in the four quarters.
Pretty
Lou
good
Dort
defensively too.
and he was doing good defensively. Lou Dort was playing really good defense on Luka for the most part, but he was absolutely mauling Luka. Like,
Yeah, but so he was hacking and
he
flopping.
was getting away with everything, with murder out there in the course of time. So, whatever. I mean, they wanted the series to be competitive, I guess, and they were letting a lot of shit go on that end. Um, I thought Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, man, he absolutely exceeded my expectations. Averaged 30 plus, like
Really?
8 rebounds, 6 assists on good percentages. Yeah, I mean, I said before the playoffs started, I didn't think that he would be able to consistently put up the numbers that he did in the regular season. In the first round, his numbers and his percentages were down, but they were playing against the Pelicans, so who cares?
Yeah, they smoked him. So
And they smoked him anyway. But in this series, in the series that I thought they were going to lose, I didn't think that he would play as well as he played. But credit to him, man. He was really the only one out there hooping for the most part for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I mean, you got guys like Casey Wallace and Isaiah Joe and, guys like that hitting threes off the bench every now and then. But for the most part, their offense revolved around Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. And to me, that kind of ended up being their biggest problem because a lot of their offense was just four down, Shea at the top,
yeah,
create,
just do
and get
something,
a
Shay.
bucket.
Right.
And that can get stopped in the play. Not stopped, but like that can put everybody else out of rhythm, and that can be very easily defended.
Mm-hmm.
Or game plan for it, because I mean, then you're just trapping him and forcing those other guys to make shots. So
Yeah, in a
yeah,
seven
man,
game series, you're not gonna win like that.
you're not. It's tough. And then PJ Washington and Derrick Jones Jr. caught fire towards the end of that series. Where the Thunder were just completely selling out on Luka and Kyrie. Anytime anytime they would pass half court with the ball, it was an instant trap, and it was just like, we're not letting y'all beat us. PJ Washington, Derrick Jones Jr., Josh Green. If y'all want to go to the next round, y'all gonna have to beat us, and they did basically. So
Mm-hmm.
this was a fun series, but honestly, it didn't really go how I thought it was going to go. But Mavs still 1-6. So I mean, what else can I say? What'd you see? What do you think?
I mean, I feel like the Thunder just got killed on the boards like every game. Like,
Dominated. Yeah.
which that's kind of what that's been their bugaboo all season. Really, is that you only got one big, and that's Chet, and he's kind of frail, right? And he just doesn't really have he's a pretty good rebounder, but he's not like just swallowing them up. So
Mm-hmm.
um, and they have no rim protection other than Chet. So if you could get him in foul trouble, or just kind of have him in a bad matchup, or have him out the way, it's like easy lane to the bucket, and easy rebounds. And it didn't really go how I expected, because Luka's been struggling these playoffs. I
Mm-hmm.
know he's battling a couple injuries, but this is the guy that I've been calling the dragon in the playoffs, and he just hasn't really been that impressive. It's been mostly like Kyrie and PJ Washington. He didn't have a great game 6, but he was amazing most of the playoffs, most of the series. Um, I mean, he's straight up carried them in a few games.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. Like this is why I wanted the Lakers to match up with the Thunder. I felt like we could have beat them in round one, because of the experience issue and because of the size. Um, this is stuff that everybody said all season, that that they can be
Mm-hmm.
exploited. So I'm not really surprised. And also, I'm not really surprised. Shea had a great series and great playoffs. He's a great player. He knows his spots on the floor to score. He knows his pet moves. So
Mm-hmm.
that's elite scoring when you know when and how to get a bucket when you need to get a bucket.
For sure.
So I really respect that. But again, the Thunder, they can't be mad. I mean, they had a great season, top, number one seed. It's disappointing, of course, to lose in the second round, but they're a super young team. I think a lot of people expecting them to be good this year, but not this good. They found, you know, second star in Jay Williams and is it which one is J Dub? Is that the one that come off the bench?
No, that's
That's this one, the star one.
the star one. Yeah.
Okay, and Chet, of course, and they've got picks for the next 10 years, and multiple picks in each round. So they're good, man. It's funny when I look at their roster. I don't really love their team other than like their 5 or 6 guys. And Giddy got played off the floor like the whole playoffs. I'm guessing they're probably going to try to upgrade that spot, trade
Probably.
him or whatever. Um, but yeah, they got a bright future, man. They just I think they should push some of their chips in and make a move though.
I agree. I think this a lot of I think we touched on this before, but like a lot of Thunder fans were worried that they just kind of stood pat during the trade deadline, that they didn't do anything, and it kind of came back to bite them in the ass because you know PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford, who also had a decent series with Derek Lively off the bench
Mm-hmm.
for the Mavs. Man, they just dominated them. Man, they they just dominated them on the glass, and in energy and everything. So, but yeah, like you said, I don't think the Thunder should have anything to be ashamed about. They had a good year for them, and shit, next year, man, they're going to be even better. So, well, hopefully. So yeah, we'll see.
The Mavericks have a really interesting thing going on here because it's not like their team is extra like super talented on paper, but it just really fits together.
Yep.
Um, you got your stars in Kyrie and Luca, who you just expect to be able to carry the offensive load. Luca's defending a lot better too. And I talked about Kyrie. And then they got all these athletic defenders that to just handle all the dirty work and all the rebounding, all the defense. It's working really, really well. I mean, if Luca could get healthy, they could fuck around and win the championship. Like it's
Yeah.
actually there. Like it's possible for them. It's unbelievable starting the season that the Mavericks were almost like a joke because they missed the play in entirely last year. And
hmm
they had a lottery pick drafted Lively, who actually turned out to be amazing pick for them, but nobody thought that at the time. I just give them a lot of props, man. They really rebounded this year,
Yep.
and that's
For sure.
that's kind of just like a statement on the NBA in its current status. Like now, I mean, you could miss the play in one year and fuck around and win the championship next year. Like so, the parity is so wide open that I guess everybody's a contender if you make the right moves.
Yeah, man. This is the NBA Adam Silver imagined.
Right, Adam Silver's NBA. No more dynasties.
Yeah. Good job, Adam Silver, you bitch. All right. Let's talk about
All these small market teams winning championships.
yeah.
The hell, David Stern would never.
Not in my lifetime, damn it. Let's talk about the series, man. The Denver Nuggets and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Look, before the series started, I thought the series would go 7 games. I thought the Nuggets would win in 7. I just didn't see how this team could lose with home court advantage, with Joker playing the way he's playing, and it happened. I mean, it was a great game 7, man. Joker still basically dominated the. I think he had a 34 and 19, 7 assists. I mean, for the series, he basically averaged or close to a triple double. And I mean, all of the narratives flying out of the series are really, I don't know, they're a little weird because part of the narrative is like Rudy Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year, he fucking sucks. He can't guard Joker. And it's just like, bro, like Joker is generational, bro. Like, what are you supposed to do against this guy? Like, some of the shots that he makes is just like, I mean, like, what are you supposed to do? Like, he's between the legs, step back three, all net. Like, what the fuck do you want Rudy
off,
Gobert to do?
off the wrong foot,
Yeah, like post
falling
move,
back.
fake, 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 and he throws it up and it just goes in.
Yeah,
Like, what do you want Rudy Gobert to do? Like, he can't. Like, nobody. Hakeem Olajuwon, prime Hakeem Olajuwon, will be getting cooked against Joker right now, bro. Like, it just is what
honestly,
it is.
only person that I've seen like kind of make him uncomfortable is recently is Wimby, like
Yeah,
because he
that's
can
because of
block
his length.
everything. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
which is.
Which by the way, by the way,
Oh.
if Wimby and the Spurs didn't win that last game against the
Yeah.
Timberwolves would be number 1 seed right now, and that would have changed the whole course of the playoffs.
Yep.
So that winning that game, the second game before the end of the season, second to last game, That changed everything for like the seeding, and here we are. That's kind of sliding doors moment.
Yeah, man.
But
But
yeah, I
go
mean,
ahead.
I agree. Look, Gobert. I don't really see how you can talk as much shit now. Like he led a number one defense in Utah multiple times. Come over to Minnesota. Okay, they sucked last year, but once they got it together and figured out how to use the roster that they have, number one defense again, one of the greatest defenses in the last 10, 20 years, really. Um, I don't really. I mean, look, he can't guard everybody. I mean,
Mm-mm.
some guys just gonna have a, they got good moves, they got a good feel. Great offense is gonna beat great defense. That's the old adage, right? So but for what he is, okay, I give him his props. He's great at what he does. Okay, like anchoring the defense, doing the role that he has, and setting great screens, all the type of stuff. Now he they were giving him the ball too much in Game 7, but it worked out for him. He even hit a little fadeaway. It was like what? Like, and then
Yeah,
towards the end, it was like, oh my god, that's
that was
over.
nuts.
If he's hitting these shots, y'all ain't winning.
Yep.
Um, they had actually T Wolves had a whole bunch of little lucky shots in that game. Um, I don't know, man. They were down 15 at the half, and
Yeah, they
I
were down
still
20
really
early in the
can't
third.
understand. Yeah, but down 20 in the third. I can't really understand what happened here. Like explain other than nobody for the Nuggets could make a shot other than Jokic in the second half, and I don't know. It was like crazy to see because I'm just
Yeah,
expecting, uh, us Lakers fans were just traumatized from these damn Nuggets. They
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 always
hit
find a way.
everything. Michael
Yep.
Porter Jr. I said this in our group chat. Michael Porter Jr. is like Klay Thompson, prime Klay Thompson against the Lakers, but against everybody else, he's just the average Joe Harris perhaps, or just just a guy, just a shooter out there. He couldn't make anything. Of course, he's got issues with his family, his brothers and stuff, but he had that in the last series, and that didn't matter.
Hmm.
Um,
Jamal
KCP just
Murray.
hasn't had a good series. Jamal Murray hasn't. He had a great first half, but he
Hmm.
hasn't had a great playoffs other than a couple game winners against the Lakers and some quarters here and there. I don't know what's going on with him, but he's usually a playoff killer, but he just didn't have it this season.
Yep.
Aaron Gordon played 42 minutes in Game 7, only had 4 points, 4 rebounds. He's another guy who kills the Lakers. So I don't know. Like when these guys aren't making shots, it's quickly apparent that they don't have nothing because they're only like 6, 7 guys deep. They don't really have a bench.
Yeah.
So I don't know,
I
man.
think.
It's just one of those things. T Wolves don't have a deep bench either, but
I
matchups, I
think.
guess.
Yeah, I'm about to say. I think Joker pretty much said in his press conference, the post game press conference, like this team is like literally built to beat them. Um, you've got first of all, I want to shout out Cat, man. He played
Yes,
excellent defense on Joker, man. Excellent defense.
he's
Um,
rewriting his narrative.
yeah, I mean, look, he couldn't stop Joker, but he was doing a better job at making it tougher than Gobert was.
Hmm.
It's crazy. Like Gobert looked bigger and stronger than Cat, but Joker was just bullying him. Like that must not be the case. Like Cat must be stronger at least, because he just wasn't able to push around Cat like he was against Gobert. So look, shout out to Cat. Shout out to Cat for not shooting 10 fucking threes a game. Like I just go ahead, go ahead.
I was just say, you remember when Cat tried to post up DeMarcus Cousins like 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, when
Yeah,
Cousins was just
there's that
standing there like,
meme. Yeah,
while Cat was doing the most.
yeah,
It's just kind of funny. Like I guess he been hitting the gym because he
yeah,
did not have a reputation for being strong.
yeah, man. I mean, there were a few times in this series where I thought Cat was going to revert to just being a jump shooter, and just trying to shoot over people that are 6 inches shorter than him. But more times than not, man, he was in the paint, posting up, taking good shots. I credit Chris Finch and Anthony Edwards for being like, look, nigga, like, what are you doing? Like, stop.
Hmm.
And just, I mean, shout out Ant, man. We haven't talked about him at all.
And
Like,
it's such a great leader. Yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
man, this dude is absolutely amazing offensively and defensively. He took the Jamal Murray
Yeah,
challenge from game one and was
locked him
like,
up in the
I'm
second half.
I'm about to say like I'm locking your ass up. And I loved his post game presser was like he was like I got Kyrie. That's my assignment. I was just like, God damn, like okay,
Yeah,
let it
he's
be
Barn
known
Bastard.
then.
He talks shit and he'll back it
Yeah,
up. He'll try it.
let it be
And
known,
yeah,
man.
I respect that a lot.
I
A
love it.
lot.
I love it.
He's only
Um,
23.
yeah, man. He's 22.
22, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's crazy. Uh, one quick thing I want to say about the Gobert and Towns thing. one of Denver's strengths is letting Joker post up and having Aaron Gordon in that dunker spot to throw lobs to or whatever the case may be. When they switched Towns on Joker and they had Gobert guarding that dunker spot, there was just nothing that
That
the
shut it
Nuggets
down.
could do.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it completely shut it down because Aaron Gordon can't just elevate and be athletic and just dunk on Gobert. Like that's one thing he can do is be tall and long and defend the rim. So
And Gobert made sure he boxed him out.
yeah, there was like multiple instances where I was like, oh, like the Nuggets are in trouble here because like that's their game. Like especially against us because it's like we said earlier, LeBron isn't doing shit. Like LeBron is just gonna look over while Aaron Gordon is finna dunk on him
And then
so,
blame somebody else.
Yeah,
Like, why you didn't block him out? Like, nigga, you standing right there. What you mean? What you mean? You didn't even jump, sir. Like,
so yeah, man. Look, shout out to the Nuggets. Shout out to Nas Reed, bro. I've been trying to tell people Nas Reed, 6th man of the year. I thought that this dude would only ball against the Lakers.
I love this guy, man.
Lakers fans know what I'm talking about. Like Nas Reed, like against the Lakers, like he's turnaround fadeaway between the legs, up and under.
He's got so much game. I almost like wonder
so
if he wasn't undersized, he could be a star. But he's just like only 6'8", 6'9", or something like that. But he's got so many moves. He can shoot. He can defend pretty good. Like I love this guy. He's kind of like I was gonna say he was their secret weapon, but he's no secret anymore.
Yeah, Nas Reed is very, very good. Okay.
And I just don't love him because he's my cousin.
Hilarious. Okay. Okay. So, all right. So the Nuggets are out. There's only 4 teams left. Where do you see the Nuggets, man? Because I feel like before the season started, we were pretty much like, I think they may have gotten a little worse. With losing Bruce Brown and Jeff Green.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out that was probably the difference in the series. Like those guys that could come in and give you something off the bench. Yep. Where do you see the Nuggets moving forward? Because if you let social media tell it, it's over. There's no dynasty. Joker's a bum, and blah blah blah. So, what do you think about
that? I know with their salary situation, they're kind of up against it. I don't think they can make too much like more drastic moves unless they like get rid of somebody. So but I think they can look for whether it's a mini mid-level or something like that, or whatever veteran, whatever minimums or whatever they have, biennial exceptions, whatever. They could try to find some veterans, some guys, basically someone that did what Jeff Green did, like a backup big, because they don't have any backup bigs. Like, they pretty much just run Porter at the center. No, not Porter. Gordon at the center, and just move everybody up. But they need a backup big, and they need another wing, like someone for the Bruce Brown minutes. They thought that Christian Braun could do it. He's okay. He's a hustle player, but he just hasn't been able to make shots and do much. And they don't really have anything else. Reggie Jackson. Yeah. So I think they'll be all right. They just got to make a couple moves around the edges. I don't think they need to blow it up, but if they did make a big move, I could see them saying, like, do we need to pay Michael Porter Jr. $40 million a year? I don't know. They might try to trade him, but I think they'll be fine standing pat, just retinkering. Like I said, it's the new NBA now. Like, dynasties. I don't know what like. You'd have to have like some team that's really young that guys haven't gotten paid yet. Like say like the Thunder or something, or something like that, where to become a dynasty. Basically, you have to win a couple rings before guys start getting paid, and or just have a salary that's stupendous, and you're just gonna pay it like the Celtics or the Warriors or whoever. But if you don't have that situation, it's kind of hard to make your team better if you're already like kind of topped out. It's hard to like make it exponentially better. But there's no one. I mean, if they lost to the Wolves, if the Wolves win the championship, then you could just say, hey, you lost to Game 7 against the team that won the championship. That don't mean you can't win it in the next season. And if you somehow win it next season, if you win 2 out of 3, that's still, you're still on the level of being possibly a dynasty. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's over for them. Jokic is still under 30. Jamal Murray's still under 30. All their core is under 30. I think Gordon's probably the oldest guy, and KCP. But just retinker. They'll be all right. Sorry, what'd you think? That was a long-winded way to say.
No. Oh shit. No, I agree. I mean, I'm still scared of the Nuggets myself. So yeah, I agree. I don't think they're going anywhere anytime soon. Let's talk about the conference finals, man. The Indiana Pacers and the Boston Celtics are the Eastern Conference Finals here. Most people are automatically writing the Pacers off, even Vegas. They have the Boston Celtics at negative 1,200 to win this series, that's just ridiculous.
Can you remind people what that means?
So yeah, negative 1,200 just means that they're heavily, heavily favored, meaning like they're basically giving the Celtics the Pacers no chance to win the series, basically.
So you'd have to win. You have to put down how much money to win money?
So you'd have to put down $1,200 to win $100. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, that makes
Yeah.
no sense.
Yeah. That's why they said it at
They're
negative
basically saying,
1,200.
don't bet this, basically. Unless you
Basically,
give us
yeah.
money, or not give us money, but barely only win a little bit of money.
Yeah.
It's not worth the risk.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I don't. Unfortunately, I mean, Tyrese Halliburton's going to be in hell with Drew Holiday. Even though I do think Drew Holiday is a little worse defensively. I don't think he's Milwaukee Bucks Drew Holiday, but I still think that Tyrese Halliburton is going to have a really tough series. Pascal Siakam, I think he actually has a matchup advantage, whether it's Tatum or Brown guarding him. Neither one of those guys are really great defensively to me, and I think that Pascal Siakam might be able to go up, especially since Porzingis isn't there protecting the rim. Um, but really, other than that, I don't really see anybody else getting off in this series. Miles Turner, he's not going to be able to do anything, even against old ass Al Horford. Um, I think this series they're really going to miss somebody like Benedict Mathurin, like somebody who's like a creator who can get his own shot. T.J. McConnell, sorry brother, it's over. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Pacers got swept, but also wouldn't be surprised if the Pacers get one and it's another 5-game series for the Celtics. But whether Porzingis plays or not, I think the Celtics are just a better team. Now, we have seen the Celtics just be ridiculously bad. I mean, and the Pacers are going to speed up the pace. So, like, if they can get the Celtics to shoot 43s and only make 10, okay, okay. That'd be stupid on the Celtics part. But realistically, I think the Celtics are pretty easily going to win this, and they'll have a nice long rest for the final start.
I mean, I generally agree. I wouldn't be that surprised either, but I wouldn't be that surprised if Indiana just gets hot for a couple games and, runs it up 130, 140 or something like that and win a couple games like that.
That's crazy, man.
I mean, that's how they play. They
yeah.
They just take a whole bunch of threes and they make them great. If not, they lose. So, okay, so we pretty much agree there. What if the Celtics somehow lose this series? They finally have to break this up, right?
Like, it would be heaven. It would just be heaven, bro. Like, oh my God. I'm praying to God that they got to break it up immediately.
I think it's like a 30% chance that something goes wrong in the series. I just got a feeling that Indiana just got some because everybody's pretty much counting them out, but they've got some talent and they've got a good coach. I just wouldn't be that surprised if they just catch fire somehow and the Celtics is like, whoa, like what is happening? Like, and now they're down 2-1 and it's like what like so I won't be that surprised. I'll put it that way. Because the Celtics, they short circuit. They just something's going on when they just get bad things happening and they can't get out of it. Like that's been their thing for the last couple of years now.
Yeah. I would absolutely love that. Let's talk Wolves Mavericks. This is going to be a more interesting series than I think people are going to give it credit for, in my opinion.
Really, I think this is going to be hot. You got Luka versus Ant Edwards. I think this.
I mean, to me, it feels like a lot of people are just saying like Wolves in 5. Like they're saying like the Mavericks are just going to get absolutely dominated. But I don't know, man. Jaden McDaniels is drawing a Luka Doncic assignment if Anthony Edwards is drawing the Kyrie Irving assignment. So okay. But all the Mavericks are going to do is say Rudy Gobert, whoever's guarding him, get up here, pick and roll, and they're just going to dominate that matchup. So
and Cat. I mean, they're just
and Cat. Yeah. I mean, they're gonna play one of them off the floor, and they're gonna have to go small with Naz Reid, which now that the Mavericks don't have Maxi Kleber because he's out with an injury, I do think that really hurts him. He would have been perfect for this series in particular. But I don't know, man. I mean, I think the Mavericks can put up a really good fight against this series, against this team. It really just depends on how healthy and how good Luka is. If Luka's back to 30-point triple-double Luka, the Mavericks are gonna fuck around and win this series, bro. Like, I mean, obviously the Wolves are better up and down. I think that they should be favored in this series to win, but it wouldn't shock me at all if the Dallas Mavericks win this series and go to the NBA Finals. What do you think?
I agree, and this is one of those where I think we may start to see it bite the T-Wolves in the butt that they only play like 7 guys. I think eventually, and they just had a long series playing in Denver and all that too. I just think eventually it's going to catch up with them to where it's going to even it out a little bit. Because right now, I would say the Wolves are probably the better team.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and matchup wise, they do match up well with the Mavericks, but I just think some of that attrition will start to level it out for the in the playoffs, where the Mavericks they do play, they pretty much play 8 guys, but Hardaway may be playing more minutes now, at least trying it out in this series. And if they do, or if they are able to play Gobert off the floor, then the Wolves only have 6 guys, that they can really play
With no rim protection and a
with no
Kyrie
repetition.
Irving.
Right. And
So,
Luka, throwing lobs everywhere. So
mm-hmm.
I'm really interested to see in the the chess match here, like all the adjustments and who plays who off the floor, who does this, because on the surface, like I said, it looks like the T-Wolves do have the edge, but there's some things that the Mavericks can do to even it out. So
Yeah. Yeah, man. I think this is going to be a really fun series. This will probably be the better of the two. Um, and yeah, man, this will be a hopefully anyway. This will be a real fun knockout series. So
quick
um,
question though. So we did talk about the parity and stuff, but do you think this is actually good for the league? Because on one hand, all fans now they feel like their teams have chances, but
mhm.
like the ratings aren't really proofing it out. Like seems like people like to watch greatness. People like to watch big market teams and super teams and all that. I know that's a little bias coming from a Lakers fan, but
Mhm.
the ratings were better
Yeah, but
this year.
maybe that's just because there's more of us, and like only Minnesota fans are watching the Minnesota games, whereas it felt like most of the league was tuned into what LeBron and the Lakers were doing, or the Steph and the Warriors or whatever. Um, I don't know though. I mean, the league is in a great place, and the parity hasn't really existed long enough for me to say if it's good or bad. Honestly, like it's only been 6 years since there's
So
been
that's a minute.
consecutive non. That's not that long to me. I don't know. I mean, coming from an era where in the 80s it was dominated by the Celtics and the Lakers, and the 90s was Jordan, and then Lakers again. It's just like it hasn't really been that long to me. But I don't know. I don't think it's bad. Not yet. Anyway, not yet. I don't think it's bad yet. I will say that I think it's cool that either Tyrese Halliburton, Jason Tatum, Anthony Edwards, or Luka Doncic is going to be an NBA champ. Like I think that's a cool thing for the league. But yeah, obviously I want the Lakers to win every year, so fuck all these guys. So yeah.
Yeah. I guess it's just not what I'm used to. I don't think it's a bad thing, but it's kind of hard for me to contextualize because they keep saying how everybody wants to talk about. I mean, obviously Jokic is one of the greats, but 3-time MVP with 1 ring. Hmm. But they're putting him up there with the Birds and Magics and blah blah blah. But it's like because he's won all these MVPs and dominating this era, but only 1 championship to show for it. And we went through that when Giannis too, only 1 championship, 2 MVPs and Defensive Player of the Year, woo woo woo. But like, yeah, how do you measure? Like, how do you really determine who's carrying the flag for the league? Like who's the guy? Like who's yeah, who is the main character here in this story?
Yeah, I mean, look, they're battling for it right now. I mean, it's you don't really know until it's over, right? I mean, unless you're LeBron and you're going to the finals 8 years in a row, then it's like pretty obvious, like okay, like this is the guy. But yeah, it's not
I
time
don't
for a
know.
new
I
guy
mean,
yet.
like, yeah, it was obvious when it was LeBron. It was obvious when it was Kobe. It was well, and the thing with Kobe, of course, he had the flag, carried the mantle, but there was still like Tim Duncan there with them winning championships as well. So I guess you could say Kobe and Duncan and Shaq, um, and we had the Jordan era, Magic and Bird era. So there's always a guy or a couple guys. Right now, I mean, I guess you could say it's the Jokic, Embiid, Giannis era, but I don't know. They're not. I don't know.
Man, the jokes about Embiid, man. They saying Tyrese Halliburton made a conference finals before him.
I
Dang.
know. Cat made one before him. Dang.
That's just
Yeah, he
that's
got
so
to get up
unfair.
out of Philly, man.
Yeah,
It's bad for his career. It's about time.
yeah, he does. Real
One
quick
last
before
thing I
we
wanted
get.
to ask you
Oh, all right, go ahead.
about something we've grown up having in our life for most pretty much I think all of your life, but most of my life, especially watching basketball inside the NBA, and
Oh,
and it sounds like they're
they're about to lose TV
TNT
rights.
and Warner, their parent company. They're not able to keep up with the bids for the TV.
Oh, you muted. I think you just hit the mute button.
Hear me now?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, yeah. NBC, ESPN, and it sounds like Amazon are about to have the rights for after next season. And next season looks like it might be the last year inside the NBA, which is pretty sad. At
It
least
is.
on TNT. I mean, perhaps they'll take Kenny, Shaq, and Charles and try to start up something else on NBC or other network. But it definitely sounds like Ernie's not leaving because he's through and through born and bred Turner guy. His dad was in there, and he's not leaving. He's like a family to him.
Mm-hmm.
It's a chance that Charles might not, but
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, this may be the end entirely of inside the NBA, but at least as we know it. How do you feel about that?
This sucks, man. This sucks. Like you said, like throughout my entire lifetime, Inside the NBA has been a constant. I've loved it since its inception when it was just Arnie, Kenny, and Charles. And then when Shaq came, I was like, why the fuck did they bring Shaq on? And now I can't imagine it without Shaq. Like, even though he's a terrible analyst, he sucks. He is very, very, very funny, very comedic. And he just fits with the show now. And I love all four of them together. It's not going to be the same if Ernie doesn't come. I'm hoping that Turner can do something to save the show, or Turner just gives him the blessing to leave. But even though it's like you said, like, he doesn't want to leave. Like, he doesn't want to work for anyone else. So I don't know. It sucks. I wish it wasn't the case. It's gotten to the point now where people are retweeting all their best moments and stuff, and it's just like, man, like, how can they let this show die? Like, how? Like, police presence is forever going to be one of the most hilarious things. Like, it's just, I don't get how they're just letting the show die. But um, it'll be interesting to have NBC back, because that was like right before my era, really.
Hmm.
I really didn't get to watch basketball during the so we'll see. But I wouldn't want it back at the expense of inside the NBA, and I think we
Right.
need all four guys. So hopefully something can be done. But with all the jokes that Charles makes now, it seems like it's inevitable, unfortunately.
Yeah,
So
it sounds like he knows it's over too. Like everything the jokes he's made, the stuff he said on live, and also he does all these other podcasts and interviews and stuff, and he sounds like he's like, look, it don't look good. Like, and
mhm.
the people that they work with, the staff and crew, they're concerned, and it just the writing's on the wall. So, mm.
Yeah, it sucks, man.
Adam
Um,
Silver in the NBA, just trying to get the most money possible, just can't do the things we want. We just gotta now, in a few years, guys will be making 5 years, 600 million
300 million.
contract.
Whew.
They're gonna be making 100 million a year and shit. It's gonna be out of control. It's gonna happen. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jalen Brown. Real quick before we get out of here, I do want to touch on some end of season awards. We mentioned Rudy Gobert won Defensive Player of the Year for the fourth time, tying um, Ben Wallace and somebody else.
Matumbo.
Mutombo, thank you. Um, do you think it's deserved or not? I personally, I mean, I would love to have seen AD or somebody else get it, but number one defense in the league, they had the best record in the league. How can you not give it to Rudy Gobert? Like, the
Yeah.
award has to mean something. You can't give it
Right.
to fucking Wemby when they couldn't win 20 games. Like, your
Yeah.
defense has to impact winning on some level. So as much as I love Wemby, as much as I think that Wemby is probably a better defender, even at this stage already, his defense has to impact winning at some point, and Gobert's does. So I understand him getting the award.
Four-time Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, that's impressive. Now he's pretty much guaranteed for Hall of Fame.
Yep. To me, he was guaranteed before this. I mean, he's
Yeah.
already got the All NBAs, the NBA All Stars, 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards before this. I mean,
The thing that bothers me though is that I can't say he's the best defensive player of his generation. I mean, there's still Draymond. There's still, I mean, hell, I think AD's been a better individual defender and team defender, but he just hasn't had the
Team
stats
success. Yeah.
and the team success. Yeah, so it's kind of sad to me that it's at this point. It seems like AD, one of the better defenders of his generation of all time, is not going to have a Defensive Player of the Year. But hey, he's not alone in that. Tim Duncan never had one either. So
Yep.
it's one of those things. So I guess I mean, it seems like people just there's groupthink. Once everybody is agreed on who's going to win the award, is not going to change, and
Nope.
that's set in stone from like fucking December. Like so.
Yep.
And, you got to do something really drastic to change the group hive mind. Once Zach Lowe puts his picks out, it's not going nowhere. Everybody's picking that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Narrative is everything, and it starts very early. Just like the narrative for Victor Wembanyama and Rookie of the Year. Again, I mean, even though his team didn't have the success that Chet Holmgren's team did, Chet Holmgren wasn't the number one, even the number two option on his team. Victor Wembanyama was, and his stats were better, even though his team sucked. So I don't mind them giving Victor Wembanyama the Rookie of the Year in this aspect.
Chet was going to win if it wasn't for Wemby putting up like crazy numbers and almost like everybody wanting Wemby to win too. But like he had to come back and take it. So, it's not like just one of those things. That was one of the cases where it actually did change in December. Like Chet was the favorite for half of the season until Wemby snatched it back.
Yep. He was unanimous too. So yeah. And then MVP, we talked about it. Nikola Jokic winning his third MVP in 4 years. To me, again, man, well deserved. I mean,
this is the one time where I can't even argue about it. Yeah.
I mean, they had a great season again. Jamal Murray was out for half the year when he still carried them to the same record as the number one seed. They just had the tiebreaker. But he averaged 27, 13, and 9. Like, okay, man, you win. Like, congrats. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't get why people want SGA to win it so bad, but Joker deserves it, man. It's hard to not say he doesn't deserve it, in my opinion.
And the elephant in the room is everybody was giving it his MVP back from what he should have had the year prior. In a lot of people's opinions now, because Embiid won and he lost in the first round or whatever, and just hasn't kind of he Embiid wanted to win MVP bad, so he gave it to him. But like Jokic has been the better player and more esteemed, won a championship. It's almost just like a payback MVP.
I agree. All right, man. Look, great pod. NBA Finals or Eastern Conference and Western Conference Finals are upon us. Yeah, that's it.
So if you had to guess right now, you're saying Wolves winning it all?
If I was a betting man, which I am, I would put money on the Minnesota Timberwolves to win the championship today. Yes.
That's
what
crazy.
About you?
I would agree at this point, and it's crazy. I mean, we almost forget that they're having like an ownership dispute too. It's a lot going on over there.
I don't think the Minnesota Timberwolves have never been to the NBA Finals, like as a franchise. No. So
this is only the second time they made it to the conference finals, and that was 20 years ago when they lost to the Lakers with Sprewell and Cassell and KG. Yeah. Karl Malone, Gary Payton on the Lakers. Yep.
Wow. How things change. It takes 20 years. But look, man, hopefully there's going to be some fun and entertaining basketball left. You won't be able to see it, unfortunately. You'll be where are you going? Europe? So
going to Cancun, sir. But
Cancun. Okay.
Sure we'll have NBA Mexico channel over there. See.
All right, man. Stop.